right, what's going on, everyone? We're back for another episode of the Combat Sports Podcast. Uh, I'm Brandon, and joined by Mondo. We're gonna go through
What's up,
quite a bit of
guys?
stuff today, so let's just jump right into it. I think we're gonna start with some UFC 303. This happened I think last week or 2 weeks ago, but it was a pretty good card, so we might as well go through it real quick. Just some of the main fights we had. Let's start with this Ian Gary fight. Do you know Ian Gary and Michael Page?
Yeah, I think in the last podcast we were doing the preview to this.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah,
I'll share
yeah.
my screen.
I saw some of it.
Yeah, I pretty much watched the whole card, so I did see a lot of this, and it was a really good card. Actually, no, I don't know if I seen all of it, but I saw most of it.
Oh, okay.
Actually, yeah, I did see. I think I did see almost all of them. This fight, I thought MVP should have won this fight, but yeah, Ian Gary. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we were talking about this, but Ian Gary, he was talking all this like crap, like, oh, he's the better striker. He's like faster and better in striking. And then we saw
hmm
MVP just kind of I want to say dominate him, but it wasn't like, like shut out, but pretty much had the better of him. And he had Ian Gary like trying to wrestle him the whole time, which I thought was kind of funny.
Right, yeah. Ian is predominantly like a striker, right? That's what he says, at least.
Yeah, yeah, and he lost the striking. I think the only reason why he won is because he got the takedowns. And I know in the last round MVP was ahead, and then Ian got a takedown like halfway through, and that's what pretty much won him the fight. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting to see Ian Gary turn into a wrestler, but it's MMA, so I don't know.
That's actually something that I'm curious about, and once we have some of our like wrestling buddies on here, I want to go over this with them because I know like in wrestling, getting a takedown is it's worth points. Or like in a fight, you think like getting a takedown and just controlling someone but not inflicting any damage, you think that should be counted as like points? Or you know how like some people in boxing they're not getting hit and they have like you could say ring generalship, but they're
Yeah,
not really punching either. And I don't think that shouldn't count as winning a fight, right? Because winning a fight is inflicting damage on someone. What are your thoughts on
yeah.
that?
So it's always been like a debate for a long time, and I've seen the judging like change over time. Even like back then, they used to give way more weight to takedowns and control, and then I've seen slowly over time like they're leaning more towards significant damage. So like back then, you could land a really good shot, and then someone could hold you down for the whole round and then win the round just from control. But now you're starting to see more and more where if a fighter does a lot of damage, but then they get controlled for a lot of the round, they can still win the round based off of damage. If the guy that did the takedown and controls doesn't do any damage, then we're seeing some judges give it to the guy that did the damage while it was, like on the feet or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I lean towards damage, and I think that's where they're headed towards with the scoring. I've seen this. They're starting to change some rules. They're trying to fix the judging and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only time I really give credit towards control and takedowns is if no one's landed anything good, right?
Yeah, 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 for sure.
And then
It's hard.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to say you it's hard to judge because it's 5 minutes, and then like I've noticed a lot of the times it's when you get the takedown, right? If you get the takedown early in the round and then they get up, like a couple minutes after, and then um and then someone does a lot of damage, obviously you're gonna give to the guy who does more damage. But then where it gets tricky is if someone does a lot of damage in the first couple minutes and then gets taken down and then they don't do anything for the rest of the round. That's when you kind of see the judges will give it towards the guy with the takedown and the control, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense. It's just, I mean, I guess grappling isn't as intuitive to me, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Like the grapplers would say, like, well, if you get taken down, you have to get up, right? But if you take someone down, well, you have to hurt him. If you're so good at controlling them, why can't you hurt him? You know?
I
Oh,
know,
that's my
right?
2 cents at least.
Yeah, it's like
It's the same thing. You can make the same argument right back. Like if you're that much better at grappling, then you should be able to hurt him, like ground and pound. Like Cain Velasquez, you remember? Every time he took someone down, he was being active.
yeah, exactly. And I think this whole problem goes away if they can figure out how to implement new rules to where if you're not advancing position or landing any damage, it's immediately one warning, and then if they still don't do anything, then like just stand them up, you know. Then we get rid of this whole situation where someone's just stalling and burns like 2 minutes of the fight doing nothing, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It is a fight after all.
Yeah, yeah. So I think, yeah, if they could somehow figure out how to effectively progress the fight, if there's nothing going on, that would be the biggest thing. But then again, when you step into the fight, you're kind of bringing the ref into the fight. So I guess it's like really hard to figure out how to do that, you know?
Yeah, how to like standardize it across like all the different referees because each
Yeah,
referee has their own like style too, kind of, you know. Even in like other combat sports, that's prevalent.
yeah. Yeah, I mean it's an evolving sport. I think over time they'll probably figure out how to make it, like one championship where they're like really if you pause for like 5 seconds, the ref will yell at you, you know?
Yeah.
I think we're headed towards that probably, but we'll see. Um then we had Dan Ige. Did you hear about this? How Dan Ige
Yeah, dude.
stepped in?
I just rewatched the fight right now, right before we started doing this.
Dude, it was some crazy ass shit. Like, so well, originally what happened was Diego Lopez, he made weight at 145, and then Brian Ortega couldn't make the weight, so they made the weight class to 155. So Diego had to weigh in at 145 and then rehydrate and weigh in again at 155. And then
Hmm.
the day of the fight, Brian pulls out like hours before they're supposed to like, start getting ready. Danny Ige steps in, and Diego Lopez has to weigh in again at 165. And I heard that he had to like put on weight or something just to get close enough to fight Danny Ige or something like that. Because it's weirdly enough you have to weigh a certain amount within your opponent for it to be like a legitimate bout. Like one guy can't weigh 155 and one guy weighs 165. I'm pretty sure they have to be within like a certain amount.
Yeah, I saw it was a catch weight, so it was the catch weight was 165.
Yeah, I think because Dan Ige obviously couldn't cut any weight, and I think that's just what Dan Ige was weighing. But Diego, he was supposed to fight at 145, so I think he even had to put on a few extra pounds just to make the 165. Something weird like that I
Yeah.
heard. I thought it was a good fight. I mean, I had Diego Lopez winning the first, and then I think the second was close, and then Ige definitely won the third. But I think it came down to like the first 2 rounds for Diego. I think is what happened.
You think that all that weight like discrepancies, like having to go up and weight multiple times, that kind of like messed him up, you think, or not?
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen Diego get tired, and it looked like he was like really tired in the third round.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just
Yeah, I was
getting
about to
beat up
say.
on the feet, but he did look like he was really gassed out. So I do think that definitely messed with him having to weigh in 3 times, where he should just be recovering and like preparing for his fight.
Yeah. I wonder like how much he rehydrates too for a fight after he weighs in for 145. Because to me, it seems
Uh,
like that would be normal for people like 20 pounds. Seems like that would be trivial. Like people usually would rehydrate to 20 pounds heavier.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it's tricky. I just heard that I don't even know what happened. I just heard that he wasn't like close enough to the 165 where he had to like, I don't even know. I can't explain it, but I think he had to put on like a few extra pounds or something like that. I heard.
Should or maybe he fights pretty close to what he walks at. Then he's like one of those few exceptions.
Yeah,
Maybe he's just
yeah,
always walking around like 150 or something.
yeah. And what surprised me was how Ige was in shape, because Ige didn't get tired. Obviously, it looked like he was getting stronger as the fight went on. I think if it went 5 rounds, Ige probably stops Diego. At least it looked like it was going that way.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, he ate that head kick pretty well though.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
And I heard Dan Ige got paid a lot for that fight, which is good. Yeah, I saw him joking around like, and now like when the UFC fights are about to start, he's like posts like pictures of airplane tickets. He's like, call me if you need me, like, and he'll like tag the UFC. He's probably
Oh
like, oh
shit.
man, I got paid fat. I need to be on call like all the time because I'm pretty sure he made way more than he usually makes to fight.
That would make sense, right? If you had to fucking step in a few hours before the fight.
Yeah, yeah, he kind of did save that card because I mean it was looking kind of thin if that fight got pulled.
Yeah, dude. Fucking Connor, bro, with his pinky toe.
Yeah, yeah, that was unfortunate. Honestly though, like now it's just building up even more. So hopefully the fight's gonna be even crazier.
Yeah. What do you think about that performance?
For Pereira,
Yeah.
dude, oh my gosh, he's so good. Every time I see him fight, I'm like not surprised, or I'm like I won't be surprised if he wins. And then every time I'm like, God dang, he's even better than I thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I just like he's just done it so many times now. You just like you kind of just have to be like, all right, I'm taking Alex Pereira, and then every time he still surprises you with by the way he how he finishes fights like that that switch kick to end the fight. Oh my god, that was so nasty.
Yeah, he's kind of starting to lap the division, or at least the top contenders, except for Ankalaev, right? I don't
Yeah.
know why they haven't put him against them, but
I think I know why.
they're trying to protect his ass.
Yeah, I think so because you can't. I don't know. I feel like if they lose Pereira, they lose a huge superstar that's just like on a roll, like getting bigger with every single fight. So it's like I don't know because
No,
we
I
all
wonder.
know.
I wonder how
Yeah.
much he sells.
Oh, I think he does pretty good. I mean, I don't know like pay per view wise nowadays, but social media wise, I know he's blowing up like crazy.
I mean, if they chose him to come in for Connor, that means that he had to be the next, best seller besides Connor.
Yeah, and yeah, I think even his fight before this one, it was a similar situation where he had to like step up to like make the card or something. I don't know what exactly, but this isn't the first time where he's like stepped up to like for the promotion, and that just makes it even bit better for him when he wins because it's like, dang, you got all these eyes on you every time, and especially for what would have been a Connor fight, so many eyes on you, dude.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
that's what I'm saying. It had to be. He has to be a pretty big like seller. I know it was like short notice and all, but they're just not gonna choose anybody to replace Connor. They have
Yeah,
to choose a
exactly.
pretty good someone that sells a lot.
Yeah, and they were saying everyone was worried about these new gloves because the knockout percentage went down, and then after that fight, everyone was like, "All right, it's not the gloves."
Really, they did go down. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, apparently, like the knockout percentage went down like crazy. Well, obviously the sample size is really small. It was only like 2 or 3 cards with the new gloves. But then after Para went there and got the knockout, they're like, "Yeah, it's not the glove," because he dropped him with the left hook right before the end of the first round. It was crazy.
Yeah. Did they say what's up in a store for him? Like what his next fights look like or nah?
Um, I don't think they said. I know Pierre said he wanted to take some time off because he's already fought like quite a bit in just these last 2 years. I think he's fought like 4 or 5 times, and they're all title
Yeah,
fights.
it's
So
pretty
it's
good.
like, yeah. So I think he said he wanted to take some time off, take a break, and then I think he'll probably fight either the next contender or I don't know. Maybe he goes up to heavyweight.
Yeah, I know.
Could
I
see
heard some
that.
speculations about heavyweight, but I don't know how serious it is.
Yeah, I mean, he already has the frame. I think he posted on Instagram or something like that he gets up to like 230 something, like 234 after his
Yeah, that's
weigh
crazy.
in. Yeah, and that's basically heavyweight. All he has to do is put on 10 more pounds and then he's 244 and that's like what Stipe weighs. So yeah,
Yeah,
that should be interesting if he does that.
shit. I think even at like 230 in the 230s, he can compete against like Stipe.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's the only problem is if they put him in against like Tom Aspinall or like John Jones, someone that's like pretty big and can wrestle. That's when it gets
Mm-hmm.
tricky. But he's
That's true.
37. He's 37, so I don't see him fighting for more than like 3 years, 3 more years. In his prime, maybe he keeps fighting after doing other stuff, but I think his prime, he's probably just now like hitting the tail end of it. But honestly, the way he looks, it looks like he's in his prime, so it's hard to say.
I think Joshua tweeted something that he would like to see Pereira in a boxing event, and Pereira responded saying that boxing is his like dream sport. That he would love to.
Yeah. He would be a super good boxer. Have you seen him spar?
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. He's kind of stiff, but I mean, if he you have to train boxing for a little bit, right? But he
Oh
would
yeah.
transition better than other people for sure.
Yeah, dude, like man, his left hook is so pure. It's like I think he has the best left hook in MMA. It's just insane.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's compares really.
Yeah, like it's so it's I thought honestly it's so technically sound. Like he'll just sit there and then out of nowhere just straight across. Like it doesn't look like he's sometimes like the best punchers are the ones like it doesn't even look like they're trying to throw it. Like it just happens.
Yeah.
And he's got that punch. That's why I think he could be good in boxing.
Oh, he definitely has good mechanics.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could
His
transition. Yeah.
yeah. His defense could be better.
Oh yeah,
Cuz
no,
he
his
fights with
defense
his
is
hands
whack for
low.
boxing.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
fights with like
and
an
chin
MMA
up.
style. He would
He'd be a
be
cruiserweight or
yeah, I think
no,
either
that'd be
cruiserweight or
heavyweight.
heavyweight. Yeah, he'd probably be a heavyweight. I think someone was saying him versus like Deontay Wilder would be sick. I could see it too.
Oh shit, bro. Dude, I think Deontay would probably sleeping, bro.
You think? But I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
I don't know.
think so.
Like I think I don't know. I don't see Wilder. Maybe like a couple years ago,
Yeah,
but
maybe a
the
couple years
way
ago. You're right.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's just that
way
Deontay is like, but
yeah, I was just saying the way that the last few Wilder fights have been going, I don't know. It's getting kind of dicey.
but I think those fights would have been the same if they would have happened. Like if he would have fought those top dudes, I think they would have gone the same a few years back. But Deontay is
Yeah.
just hella athletic. I think he's more athletic than Pereira and has like similar, if not better, power. Because
Oh yeah, he has
Deontay
way
fights
better
with like
power.
big ass gloves.
Uh
Yeah.
huh. He has better power for sure. But the thing with this matchup is, I think Paris timing is just way too good for Wilder. Because
Pereira does have good ass time.
Wilder always looks for like that one punch, but Pierre is like always throwing combos, which would fuck with Wilder a lot.
Yeah, that's one thing that Pereira does have is like pretty good timing.
Yeah, like his counterpunching and his yeah, basically his counterpunching. Like he's always slipping and throwing. I don't know if you've ever seen him spar, but when he spars, dude, he just never stops. Like he's moving and always throwing right after, and that's like the opposite of Wilder. Wilder's like move, 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 and then throw, and like
One,
Perry would
two,
just walk.
yeah.
Yeah, Perry would just walk through, walk him down, and then just keep throwing combos, and then Wilder would eventually get tired, and like or not tired, but
It's just that like
eventually, yeah,
it's just that Pereira is so hittable though.
yeah,
Everybody hits him.
that is
I
true.
don't
Yeah,
think
it could
against
be.
against those boys. I don't think.
Yeah, it could look like Ngannou versus Joshua. It could look like that, where Wilder just throws a straight right down, and Perry just goes out cold.
It's just that Pereira is like so good at implementing it all together, right? With the low kicks,
Yeah,
with the switch kicks, with the teeps, like that's how he can set up his punches really well. And like when you have to like just like set up punches with your footwork and more and other punches, like that's a different skill, you know.
that's facts. That's facts. We'll
But
leave
I
that
would love
for
to see something like that. Yeah.
yeah. We'll discuss that. That's for another video. But we'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
Um, this was the last fight or the most recent card. Was Rose versus Tracy, and I'm pretty sure Rose stepped in on short. One of the two stepped on short notice. I think it was Rose. Um, but yeah, that was the main event. We'll start with let's see. I didn't watch all these fights, but I did catch the main card. Um, man, did you see any of these fights?
Nah, I didn't, bro. I didn't see it. None of these
So
fights.
this fight, this was controversial. So, so right before the fight started, I put a little bit of money on Cody Rundage, and then immediately, like 5 seconds in, Abdul or Cody shoots for a takedown, and Abdul just starts elbowing him like crazy, and then Cody's like all messed up, like you could tell he's really hurt, and then Abdul just keeps throwing elbow after elbow, and the ref's like, "Watch the back of the head, watch the back of the head," and then Abdul just keeps throwing elbows, and then the ref steps in and calls accidental shot to the back of the head. And did you ever see the Aljamain Sterling fight versus Peter Yan when he got kneed in the head?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Cody basically did what Aljo did and basically acted like he couldn't fight. But who knows? I can't say because I'm not
Damn.
Cody, but it really just looked like Cody didn't want to fight. And to his credit, like he was getting hit in the back of the head and he was hurt. The main part about it is he was hurt, right? So I
Mm.
think that's why he didn't want to keep fighting because he's gonna restart the fight kind of like still dazed. So I think that's probably why he said he couldn't fight. But everyone was like on Twitter was like, that looked kind of sus. I think he just didn't want to go, and I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. So he got his whatever like 50K in 37 seconds, and he didn't lose.
So it was a no contest or
Yeah, so it's no contest. But they
um
still get their they still get their pay, and then yeah,
yeah.
just looks kind of bad on Cody's end.
I don't know if they'll contract them again.
Yeah, but this next fight, this was a huge, not huge, but pretty big upset. This Rodriguez guy was 2-1 favorite, and then Julian Erosa goes out there and subs him, and I was like, dang. And it happened pretty quick in the first round, so that was pretty cool to watch. This fight, I took the over 1.5, and I also took to go the distance. And this I don't know how to say his name, Lusa. Basically, he was just trying to wrestle, and this Bonfim guy was just. Actually, no, it wasn't just wrestling, but this guy Bonfim was really good on the feet, like just lighting him up. And I was just sitting there watching it the whole time, like, "Oh, please get the takedown! Please get the takedown!" Because this guy Von Thiem could throw hands and kicks, and but credit to Lusa, Lusa was just eating everything, and he was still being able to like go forward, throw strikes, and then grab a hold of him. So that was pretty fun to watch. And then this fight was crazy. Jane Silva, this guy is a madman. So he's a 145 pounder, and he stepped up to lightweight to take this fight against Drew Dober, who's like one of the nastiest knockout artists in the division right now. And oh my god, it was just Gene Silva all day. You're familiar with Drew Dober, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like he's got hands, like crazy hands, but he couldn't land on Gene Silva. Like he landed here and there, but not like he normally does. And Gene was just doing circles around him, like move in, pull counter, kicks, punches, like everything. He did a spinning
Mm.
elbow. He did so Drew Dober goes in for a punch and Gene Silva does a spinning elbow. You know, like the Yair Rodriguez versus Korean Zombie spinning elbow,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where like he just like one person's going forward and then the other guy just spins around. He did the same thing, and Drew Dober's cut was just messed. It opened up a huge cut. I'll try to. Did you see the picture?
Uh,
I'll pull it up, dude. It was disgusting. It
was
was
that
really
guy? Was
bad.
he ranked in the 145 division?
I'm not sure. He is pretty new, so I'm not sure. But if he's not, he will be because he's so good. He just beat a top. I think Drew Dober's like top 15 at least. But yeah, look at this. Oh wait,
Damn.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah,
It was basically the size of his eyebrow. You see that?
yeah. It's just yeah. What the fuck?
Dude, it was bad.
So
And
it was a doctor stoppage then, or
yeah, the doctor came in, took one look at it. It took him like 5 seconds. He's like, nah, this cannot go on. And I think they definitely made the right call. I mean, that thing opens up anymore, and his eyelid's gonna start hanging off. It's pretty brutal. It looks deep too,
yeah.
and the way the fight was going, it was not looking good for Drew Dober either way. If it was a close fight, sure, let it go, but it didn't look. I mean, it was a close fight, but a clear winner. You know, like Drew Dober wasn't like not throwing and just getting hit the whole time. Like Drew Dober was throwing back and landing stuff, but it looked like Gene Silva was definitely gonna win that fight. So stoppage was
And so
probably a
that
good
guy has some
idea.
hands.
He's got good hands, dude. Like he's got like that natural skill, like there's some fighters that come in with like the high guard, throwing 1-2, 1-2, 1-2-3, and then you got the fighters that come
Mm.
in with like the low hands, throwing like single right hand, just like single pop shots, stepping back, kick, like those natural fighters that have that ability to like spring forward, backwards, throw, going sideways, backwards, forwards. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like more fluid and shit, not
Yeah,
too rigid.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was like kind of like this fight. Like we had like the more standard 1-2 knockout artist street over versus like the more fluid counter puncher, um, whatever you want to
Like
call it,
like raw
natural
talent.
striker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
raw
yeah,
talent.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And that's what Gene Silva is. He's got that natural skill, and you can. And I always say this, like when I watch fights, I can always notice like you can almost notice who's going to be a good natural striker just by the way they're bouncing around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They
Like
got
when they're
some good
just like,
coordination and shit.
yeah, like when they got that little like bounce in their step and they're like fainting and trying to read the guy, you can almost tell without them even throwing anything that they're going to be a pretty good striker, and you can see that in Gene Silva. But yeah, that was a good fight. Do you know who Moses the Jeweler is?
Uh was this the
uh,
jeweler?
Hey, hold on. I'll show you. I always say this Gene
What
Silva
he
guy.
look
He reminds me of him. Basically, it's like He's a famous YouTuber that does like jewelry. He looks like this.
uh oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He does.
He looks kind of like. So whenever I see him fight, I always call him Moses the Jeweler. Yeah. Uh, and then
You
next
gotta get the
fight.
Cuban link for the next walkout.
Yeah. Uh, and then this next fight, this was funny, dude. So we had Ponzinibbio, who was a pretty big favorite, 2-1, versus Muslim Salikov, and Ponzinibbio. Did you know Ponzinibbio?
Nah, I never heard of him.
He's like this guy that was like pretty big back then. Like five. He's like Robert Whitaker.
Yeah.
He was kind of like him. Like a really good, pretty good, like a good striker, a good all around MMA guy, and he was rising up the ranks really fast. And then all of a sudden, he like took a lot of time off, and then since then, he kind of just been up and down. Um,
Mm.
but he was like a really big up and comer, winning like all his fights, as you can see here, like win, whatever. And then he just like kind of went on a weird streak where he would just like win one, lose one, win one, lose one. So going in this fight, I was like, okay, I have to give the edge to Ponzinibbio, but I was just feeling like Salikov was gonna hurt him because I've seen, especially recently, Ponzinibbio when he gets hit, he doesn't react very well. That wasn't really the case of this fight. Ponzinibbio's chin held up, but Salikov was able to land, in my opinion, the heavier shots. Um, and so the first round was close. I honestly gave it to Ponzinibbio, but Salikov landed the better strikes. It just looked like Ponzinibbio was moving around better. It looked a little bit more clean. Um,
Mhm.
but so yeah, so I had it Ponzinibbio in round one, and then round two I had definitely Salikov, and so I had it 1-1 going to round three, and then I had round three I gave it to Ponzinibbio because I think he had like a takedown, and that kind of like sealed the fight or something like I can't remember exactly now, but I saw and all the judges gave it to him, Ponzinibbio,
Mhm.
and then I was like, oh man, Ponzinibbio definitely won. And before the fight started, I put some money on Salikov. So I was like, oh, Ponzinibbio lost, or Ponzinibbio won, Salikov lost. And then they read the scorecards, and they gave it to Salikov. I was like, holy shit! I was freaking
Damn.
out, dude. It was crazy. But so apparently the judges like scored it for Salikov, gave both the round one and two to Salikov, which is kind of interesting when you look at these strikes here. I guess Salikov landed way. Salikov was winning the third round, and then I think Ponzinibbio got a takedown, and then I think that kind of looked like Salikov lost the round. But yeah, it
Damn.
was those first two rounds that were close, and I guessed it too. So I was like, well, I was like, I'm gonna bet on Salikov. He's gonna hurt Ponzinibbio, and Ponzinibbio is gonna turn into a wrestler. And Ponzinibbio, he kind of surprised me. He was willing to strike with Salikov a lot more, but he definitely had a game plan to go in there and try to take down Salikov when he could. So
Mhm.
that's kind of what happened. Um, as you can see here in the round four, he had four. He went for four takedowns, so he kind of turned into a wrestler there at the end. But I mean,
Damn.
round one and two, he was willing to strike. So yeah, that was a good fight. And then, oh my god, have you seen the video of Tracey Cortez getting her eyelash punched off?
Nah, for real?
Dude,
That shit's
dude. Okay,
crazy.
so yeah, so I was watching this fight, right, and I don't know if you can see, but
Yeah,
Cortez wears
she
these
got
like
fake
eyelashes.
eyelashes.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's hard to tell here, but like her eyes, they look almost like tinted black because the eyelashes kind of are flare out, so her eyes look black, right? Like I don't know if you can see that.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so so she gets hit with a hard punch, and then all of a sudden, one eye looks black, and I'm like sitting there the whole time, like dang, I didn't know you could get a black eye that fast because it takes time to swell and whatever.
Yeah.
And then her eye was just black. I was like, what's going on? And then they go to the corner and then they zoom in on her face. I'm like, oh my god, she just one eye has a fake eyelash and one doesn't. So the contrast, it looks like she has a black eye because one eye has no eyelashes and then one eye has a big black eyelash. And I was like,
Oh, that's
oh
crazy.
yeah, I'm gonna find the video.
Who
Dude,
in
it's
their right
crazy.
mind puts yeah, who puts fake eyelashes for a fight?
That's what I was thinking, dude. But I guess she's a girl, so it's like whatever.
She trying to catfish.
Literally. I wish I could find this video, dude. It's so crazy. You can see it in slow mo. The eyelashes goes. She gets punched right in the eye, and she has like a cut over her eyelid, but it was just like a perfectly placed punch. See if I can
Yo, isn't
find
she
it.
dating Brian Ortega or something? Thought I saw them holding
Yeah,
hands or
she
some shit like
was.
that in a post.
She was, but then they broke up eventually.
Mm,
Oh, here it
all
is.
right, I see. Damn, it was it wasn't even to the eye. It was to the cheek area.
That was the first punch. The second, the right hand right here. Did you see the right hand go?
Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
just grazes the eye right there. Bang.
yeah.
That's
Oh, I
just
see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Like crazy coincidence. Obviously, she probably didn't mean to punch the eyelash off, but it's funny how you can see that just fly off. That's probably the last time. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she'll just play into it and keep wearing them, but I definitely would not wear them. Because I was sitting there, I'm like,
Nah.
dang, like, why don't you just rip the other one off? You know, it probably just feels weird having one eyelash on. Because that you could probably definitely feel the difference between having it on and not having it on. Kind of see like the
Yeah.
yeah.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if it like affects vision at all or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it probably does, especially when you get like the sweat and blood. Like, I don't know why you'd. I don't know. Maybe it would help actually. I don't know.
Keep that shit out the eye.
Yeah, but did you see that she had to cut her hair to make weight?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I saw that. Yeah.
So I just thought it was the funniest thing. So it was a video cut for Tracy weighing in, and then Rose weighing in after, and it's like Tracy weighs in, and she's got her hair, and she's like crying because she had to cut it off, and then like the video cuts to Rose walking on the scale, and Rose has no hair, and it's just like you got one fighter crying because you had to cut some of her hair out, and then the fighter right after just has no hair, and she's just like
Yeah. How
emotionless.
ironic.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But
Next
yeah,
time
this
she should
fight
try taking off the eyelashes. Maybe that'll help her make weight.
yeah, for real. I feel like she missed weight, but they're like, dang, she cut her hair off. Let's just give it to her. Because, like, how much could that
You
hair
think
really
so?
weigh? Yeah, because it was
A few
sus.
ounces.
Like, yeah, it was sus the way it looked like the guy was just like, just 126 and just rounded it, you know? Because she weighed in with the hair. She weighed in with the hair, and then she was still overweight, and then she let the hair down, and then all of a sudden she made weight, but I doubt it.
Damn. How long was her hair? If it
She didn't
made
even
that much
cut
of
that
a
much.
difference, you know?
She didn't even cut that much off. She barely cut off like half of it. She just cut off like the bottom
Mm,
because you can obviously see, like in the fight, she still has a lot of hair left. You know, she
yeah.
basically just cut what was below her neck, and it was like it was a decent amount, but I don't know, maybe it had like sweat and water on it. Maybe that's why it weighed more, but who knows? But yeah,
Maybe.
that fight was like pretty mids. Rose completely outclassed her. It wasn't even close. But on the scorecards, some of those judges gave Tracy like one or two rounds. I was like, I don't know. I think she lost every round. Like, let's look at the strikes. Round one, 30 to 14, 27 to 12, 15 to 8. This was okay. This one was kind of close. Round four. Oh yeah, yeah. Round four.
Mm.
What I would say, round four, you could give it to Tracy. I do remember one round, and the last round was pretty close. But then Rose kind of took over with the takedown and the significant strike differential. And then
I
yeah,
never
Rose
heard
had
of
like
Tracy.
oh yeah, she's like one of the MMA WMMA baddies, if that makes sense.
Oh,
You know, like the
hence
girl, like
the
everyone
fake
gets behind the girl.
eyelashes.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably
Yeah.
why she wears them. But yeah, that's just why she's popular, and because she was Brian Ortega's girlfriend. I mean, she was like
Mm.
undefeated. She was 11-0, or she was 11-1, 11 fight win streak, 5-0 in the UFC, and then she has to fight Rose, which isn't her fault because I think Rose stepped in to replace who she was supposed to fight. So I guess it was either one of them stepped in. I can't remember who. So I guess that makes a difference. But at the same time, she's fighting Rose, who's former champion, highly ranked. So it was kind of a mismatch. But Tracy, I think she'll
Yeah.
get better, and I don't think she'll ever be as good as Rose, but she'll definitely be probably top 10.
Hey, if she hits the fan, she could always make an OnlyFans like the rest of them, right?
Yeah, exactly. I saw this someone made a meme, and so she used to date Brian Ortega, and someone made like a meme where it was Brian Ortega reacting to a video, and he was like laughing really hard, and then someone replaced it with him laughing really hard to her getting knocked down by Rose. It's so funny. It was kind of messed up, but I thought that
Uh,
was kind of funny.
we'll
Yeah,
get
let's move
creative with that
on.
stuff.
Dude, MMA memes, they're so funny. They're so unhinged, but I love them. Um,
Yeah.
so then we got a bunch of boxing fights. Do you have a preference what you want to talk about? I have a few tabs opened
Oh
up
yeah, dude.
here.
Let's do that. Let's do the Diaz Masvidal recap.
Yeah, I'll have these highlights playing in the background. Did you?
Is
I
that
don't.
the
I didn't.
whole card highlight?
No, I think this is just the Diaz Masvidal.
Oh, dude, do you see the Ryan Garcia's little brother versus
Oh my god.
Emiliano Vargas' brother fight?
Yeah, Motto. That was so bad, dude.
Yeah,
Did you see it?
yeah, I watched all of it.
Dude, Sean was getting his. It's
Yeah,
Sean, right? Sean Garcia.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
getting kind of whooped on, dude. Those body shots he was eating were disgusting.
After the first round, he looked when he went to the corner, it looked like he wanted to like puke.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he was eating some nasty body. I mean, credit to him though, he kept fighting back, which was surprising me. He never quit, but he was eating some disgusting body shots.
Ryan's been on one lately too, huh?
Oh, dude, he's been going crazy. I think that fight though with Sean and Amato, I think it just showed like Amato's taking it way more seriously than Sean. I think because I mean, I saw
Yeah.
Sean's record and Sean like takes like one fight a year. And it's like not really like anything crazy. So I don't even think Sean
Oh yeah,
really
those
takes boxing seriously.
I don't think so either. I think I mean he's not that bad. I mean he could maybe I guess I don't know. In the amateurs he was pretty decent, but nothing like Ryan, of course. Ryan was a standout amateur.
Yeah, I think
What do you think
Sean's.
about this fight?
Or, oh, this
Or
fight.
go ahead.
Sorry, I think did Ryan fight Amato?
In the amateurs? No, I think
Yeah.
Mato started boxing late. I think he
Oh,
did start boxing
I,
late.
I don't know why I saw it was like they were wanted to. They're saying like part two of like Garcia versus Vargas or something like that. I don't know if
Oh,
they had fought in the amateurs
maybe
or
he wanted
something.
to avenge,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's what I was
or
thinking. Maybe it
maybe.
was. I don't know. But this fight, yeah, I didn't see this fight, because it was so late. I remember I was watching, and then this fight didn't start till like super late where I was, and I think I just fell asleep or something like that.
And dude, this fight surprised me because Jorge looked like he wasn't even trying. It looked like he was like warming up the whole fight. He was southpaw the whole fight too.
Yeah, dude, I wasn't surprised that Nate was gonna win this one. I felt like Nate it was a naturally better boxer because I don't know Jorge like fights like in a Muay Thai stance in MMA. He throws a lot of kicks. He fights a lot different. He doesn't really fight like a boxer, you know. And then
Hmm.
versus Nate's style, even in MMA, it's just straight. It just has like a straight boxing and jujitsu style. So I was like, Nate's gonna have the edge in boxing for sure. It's kind of what we
Yeah, I don't know
saw.
why Jorge didn't go orthodox because I don't think he's a southpaw, right?
No, but I think Nate Diaz is a southpaw, so I think that maybe that's why. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, no. I think that was a huge mistake by Jorge.
Yeah,
Because Jorge he hurt Nate a couple times. Not like too bad, but it was obvious that Nate wobbled a little bit when he turned orthodox.
yeah.
But I don't know.
I think. I mean, I didn't see the fight, so I don't know, but I just know the way Nate fights. It's so good for boxing because like obviously in boxing, if Nate's just throwing like nonstop, you can't in boxing you can't just go for a clinch and take down. So Nate can just sit there and just do this all day. You know what I mean? Whereas,
Man, they would be they would be like a great American amateur boxer in like the American system. That's like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you were saying.
yeah,
Just like
and
volume shit, volume
uh,
based.
and they're both getting older, so I feel like that cardio is gonna play a bigger factor too.
Yeah, Nate has cardio for days. You see that they had a brawl though? You see that that coach behind Jorge, that guy
No, I didn't see that.
with the hat? He's right behind him right there with the
Yeah,
hat.
what happened?
Yeah, him and Nate's bodyguards got in a brawl after the weigh-ins or some shit like that. They threw
Shit,
us down.
that's crazy. Oh wait, I think I did see that. I did, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was like pre-fight. Yeah, that was like way before though, right? Like a month ago.
Or maybe it was like a pre. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just saw it right now.
Was it like outside during the
Yeah,
daytime?
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it
yeah.
was
That
like after like a
it
media
was
day or
like
something. But
yeah, it
yeah,
was like a press conference. I saw that. That was crazy. They had like a huge brawl. Uh, but also, did you see that one that I don't know what he streams on, but I think a kick streamer, Neon. Did you see him get chased down?
yeah, yeah. I saw that.
He thought it was a game. He went in there trying to talk shit, and then all of Nate Diaz's team, they just went on a headhunt. Oh my god! And I heard him
That's
saying like
goofy.
he was like walking out. He's like, yo, we need to get Masvidal. We need to get some Masvidal's team. Like because he was scared. He messed with the wrong guy, dude. Like I don't think Nate Diaz would give a fuck if he got arrested trying to beat up. I don't even think they would arrest Nate if even if he did get a hold of Neon. Cause like Nate's just
Did they
homies with
even arrest
everybody.
him? Remember that one time he choked out that guy in public? I don't think they
Yeah,
even arrested him.
he never got arrested or anything. And he's done crazy. Like he'll like throw water bottles, like slap people, and no one really, no one even cares. Which I think is
Yeah,
funny.
just give him a pass,
Yeah, because he usually doesn't start shit.
dude.
It's just he's just like retaliating.
Yeah, dude. What do you think about this one?
Dude, man, it sucks because like Jake never fights anybody that's like the same size as him. You know, at least from like the MMA. Like he's fought like a one or two boxers that were his size, but like when he fights other people, like it's always the same story. You know what I mean?
Well, how big? I thought Perry was pretty big. He was like 185 or no? I think
He was
Jake Paul usually walks around 180.
so I know in UFC he was a welterweight, so he was like 170, and then I think he moved up to like maybe like 185 was his heaviest he's fought at, but that was in bare knuckle. So that's just him not
I
cutting
think he had a
weight.
few fights.
Yeah,
He
so
had a
that's
few
just
fights
him.
in the UFC.
Yeah, so that's like just him like natural, and then I think they're doing this at cruiserweight, so this will be at like 200, right?
Oh damn!
Yeah, so so I was listening to Mike Perry. He said he actually has to put on like 10 pounds just to make the weight.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw Jake Paul was preparing for Mike Tyson, so Jake Paul was planning on being like 240, like big as fuck, like 230, 240, because he was for heavyweight.
Yeah,
So now Jake Paul is just cutting back down to cruiserweight, so he's just going to be absolutely huge. So I think even come on fight night, I think Paul's going to outweigh him like by 15 pounds easily.
damn. He has a 3 inch height and a 6 inch reach advantage on Mike. Yeah, it's pretty big difference.
Yeah,
The
that's
reach
like
at
how it's
least.
been like for every fight that he's had against like an MMA guy, like Tyron Woodley, now Mike Perry, Ben Askren. They're all like 5'10 ish, like 180s, about 185. So they're all smaller, and so he always has the edge in size. So it's like so, because you know how they always say like a good, a decent big guy can still beat a really good smaller guy just because of the height and
Right,
weight.
but that's the key, right? Or at least Jake Paul's like naysay or for lack of a better word, the Jake Paul haters, they say that he's a shitty ass fighter, but like he's not. It's like the saying
Yeah,
goes,
he's
the
still
great
good.
little, the good big guy can beat the good little guy or whatever. But like these people have years and years of experience. You'd think that that be that'd count for something, right?
Yeah, I think it will. I think Perry will do really good. I just don't think that he can make up for that size because that's like honestly, it's like almost like two weight classes if you think about it. Because Perry is like a 185er, so that would be like what like that would be maybe he'd probably fight at like light heavyweight, maybe even lighter. He'd probably fight at like super middleweight if he was a boxer, and then Paul
Yeah.
would fight at like light heavyweight slash cruiserweight, which is what he fights at. Because
So
Paul's cutting
boxing
weight
it goes
to
from
make that.
and boxing it goes from lightweight 175 to cruiserweight. I always forget how. Let me
Yeah, I
look
think
up.
super middleweight's 168, light heavyweight is like 175, and then cruiserweight's like 200 something.
It's 190 to 200 pounds. There's
Yeah,
a range.
190. Yeah, and the main difference here is Jake Paul's cutting weight to make that, and Mike Perry's putting on weight just to make that. So that's like basically two
Yeah,
weight
I
classes
guess
difference.
he's been
So it's
fighting at 185, but they're fighting at cruiserweight. It's a 5 pound difference. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm just saying like the main difference is Perry has to put on weight, and then Paul's cutting weight. So that's like almost two weight classes if you think about it that way.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Paul is probably gonna come in like on the heavier side of that range, and
Hmm.
Mike is gonna come on the lower to mid.
Yeah, and then yeah. So it'll be I don't know. It'll be. I'm still gonna excited to watch it. Still, it's gonna be fun. If it was bare knuckle, I would say it's a 50-50 fight. I'd honestly lean towards Perry, but since they got gloves on, I think it's like 70-30 towards
Ooh,
Paul.
that'd be sick if they did bare knuckle.
In bare knuckle, nobody beats Mike Perry. There's just I don't know what how Mike Perry found the cheat code, but he's like OP in bare knuckle. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I think so let's see, it's 8 rounds. I think uh I think Paul probably wins this by decision. I don't see him knocking out Mike Perry, and I don't see Perry knocking out Jake Paul, so that's why I think I had to give it to Paul in the decision.
like jabbing and moving and shit, and maybe catching him with some overhands here and there.
Yeah, I think he's just jabs, splits the guard, jabs to the body, straight right to the body, splitting the guard with straight right, maybe some overhands. But yeah, just the way Mike Perry fights, he fights kind of with that high guard, trying to get inside, trying to trade with you. But Jake Paul is not someone who likes to trade. He likes to stick and move. So that stylistic matchup's terrible, especially with the height and weight disadvantage. So it's gonna look like Jake Paul's winning this fight by a lot more than what it would have been if they were like the same height and reach, or same weight and reach and height. If that makes sense.
Yeah. How many times has Mike got knocked out in MMA? You know,
I could look it up real quick. I don't think he didn't get knocked out that much. He just there was a lot of fights that weren't very close in MMA just because he always fought with like a boxing style. He only got KO'd one time in MMA. All of his losses were he had one loss by KO, one loss by submission, and six losses by decision. So yeah, he didn't. He's got a good chin. Oh yeah, he did get knocked out one time. That was a head kick. So
yeah. If I was him, my tactics would be to keep a high guard and kind of try to counter in between punches. You know,
yeah, it's
this would
it's
my
gonna be a lot
hard
of
as
him
fuck.
like yeah, it's gonna be like a lot of. I can already know it's gonna be. It's gonna look like him trying to chase Jake Paul around the ring, basically, and it's gonna look like he's
I
losing
think
because
that's
of
what
that.
he. Yeah, I don't. I think that's a bad idea. I think he should stand his ground. You know, and kind of
Yeah,
like instead of following him, kind of just not cutting off the ring necessarily, but just cutting off the angle. And so Jake Paul looks silly, just kind of like running around, you know. And then
yeah,
Jake is gonna. He's not too experienced, so he's gonna try to come in to throw a combination, and Mike Perry just try to counter between those combinations. A
yeah,
guard.
and
So
yeah,
that's what I would do if I was him with his skills.
I agree with that, and that plays to his strengths. Like that's how he fights in BKFC. He'll stand there and he'll just try to stay in that range where he can land, and then where he's not like overextending and stuff. But that's also in the BKFC circle. So it's much smaller than the boxing ring. So it works.
Oh,
That
that's
style
right,
works
huh?
really. Yeah, it works really good because of the ring style in BKFC, where it's really small and it's a circle. But in a regular boxing ring, it's going to be kind of tricky. I think Paul is going to be able to work on the corners of the ropes, and basically he's going to look like Perry doesn't know how to get inside. Is what I see from this fight.
Oh, I think Paul has some shitty footwork, but I think if he counters in between punches and goes to the body and shit, and then because in a square you can cut off the ring, in a circle you kind of can't. You just kind of keep going in a circle. So I think that'll be to Mike's advantage later on if he's smart about the first rounds and not get tired trying to chase him, you know. And then
Yeah.
eventually Big Jake will get cornered, and then Mike can just look active. I think that's the key for Mike to win. If he, because I don't think he has one punch knockout power.
Yeah. I think yeah, for sure. I think Perry has to come out. And I think he has to change the way he I mean, I like the high guard, but I've just seen it so many times where Jake, with his size and his reach, he's just able to split the guard, you know, like where he's able to throw that really fast 1-2, so it'll go
Yeah.
straight through the gloves. So I almost think that Perry has to like um he'll have to keep his hot hands up high, but not keep him glued to his face. He'll almost have to keep them a little bit in front of him and have that chin back, almost like it's gonna look like not good posture, you know, but he almost has to,
Mm.
because I think if he stands there with a good posture like Mike Tyson, I think Paul is gonna just do that step back 1-2 all day long. That's just what I see.
Yeah, I guess we don't know how good his skills are, like, you know, with the gloves on and shit, how good his eyes are to reading
Yeah,
and trying to get a counter in between a punch. So
yeah.
it's kind of hopefully they make a good fight though. I feel like Mike
Mhm.
will try his best to make a good fight.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing is he's not. It's not gonna be easy for Jake at all. I feel like Perry is definitely. I mean, Perry knows the stakes. This is the biggest fight he'll probably ever have. Maybe not ever, but one of the biggest fights, because it's on a big stage against Jake Paul. It's for a lot of money. Um, it's a real boxing match, so it just opens up the avenue towards fighting boxers and not just bare knuckles. So I think for Mike Perry, this is probably not just because it's Jake Paul, but because of the stakes of everything afterwards. I think this is probably his most important fight he's ever had, and it probably ever will have, just in terms of like what comes afterwards.
Yeah, and it looks like he has already a one professional boxing fight that he lost right there on his record.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
I wonder who he fought.
so that was a long, really, really long. That was 2015. It says here. That was before he fought MMA. I think he's always been a boxer, but it didn't transition well to MMA because I he would sit there with the high guard, and it was like, um, obviously it's harder to close the distance with MMA because people can like throw kicks and shoot takedowns and whatnot. So it just looked really awkward because he was trying to sit there and try to fight in boxing range with his hands up high when the guy he was fighting was just kicking him and moving backwards. You know, it just looked really weird.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's having success in BKFC. Like I don't know if you've seen him fight in BKFC, but he is so freaking good, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, it almost seems like even though like those BKFC, like the ex MMA fighters or whatever, they've taken punches with the 4 ounce gloves. It seems like when they get hit bare knuckle, it's just like a different feeling for them, you know? Like they don't
Yeah,
kind
dude.
of quit. They kind of quit internally before
Yeah,
externally.
I've noticed that a lot, dude. Like you can when fighters get hit in MMA and boxing, they try not to show it, and you almost never can tell. Like the only time you can tell they're hurt is obviously if they're like wobbling around, but they never really shows on their face. But when they get hit in BKFC, you can see it in their face. They're like, "Whoa!" I can like you can tell like they can feel the punch, because you know in like a fight the adrenaline and everything. I
Yeah.
think with the knuckles hitting your face, I think even past the adrenaline doesn't cover account for that, because you can see them. They don't look like wobbly and stuff, but then like they don't want to get up and they don't want to keep fighting. You know what I mean? I've seen it a few times where the fighter like they don't look like they're stumbling around, but then when the refs like, "Do you want to fight? Do you want to fight?" They're just like, "Nah, I'm good." They're just like, "No,
Yeah.
nah, that's sure."
Yeah, that's what it seems like sometimes.
Yeah, I'm curious what the odds are going to be for this fight. I feel like if it's like plus 250 or more for Perry, I'm probably going to have to take. If I was going to bet, I'd probably sprinkle some on Perry. But if it's any closer than that,
Yeah,
if it's any closer, I wouldn't take it.
yeah.
Man, I just
Wonder what you know
really.
the undercard for this?
Oh yeah. Where's it at? I think this right here. So we had Amanda Serrano. Wait, I thought Serrano was supposed to fight. What's her name? The Irish fighter, Katie Taylor. I thought she was supposed to fight Katie
Oh yeah.
Taylor, but I guess not. Oh my gosh, Chavez Jr. is fighting
What
Uriah
the
Hall.
fuck?
That's
What
crazy.
the fuck?
Oh, and then this guy. Do you know this guy? I
Yeah,
don't
I
know. I
seen
don't know
him
how to
live
say.
before.
Yeah, apparently he's a.
Ashton Still or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he's supposed to be really good. I'm
Yeah,
just confused about this fight. I could have swore it was supposed to be Serrano versus Katie Taylor. Let's see. I know for a fact they were
and
supposed to do a rematch because I remember watching the press conference. It was Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, and then it was Serrano and Katie Taylor. But they did change the card from the Netflix thing to like not Netflix, so I think maybe that might have changed it.
oh damn, it's a zone now.
Yeah, yeah. It was supposed to be free on Netflix, which would have been sick, but
Yeah, that would have been sick.
oh well. Oh my gosh, the community predictions on whatever the website this is 50-50.
Dang.
That's crazy. Oh, but the percentage for Jake Paul by KO is double Mike Perry. Wow, so they really think Paul's gonna get a knockout. I don't see him knocking out Mike Perry, but I guess given the size difference, it's gonna be more likely than it would have been if they were similar. That's the only problem.
Hey,
I
he
just
did.
wish Jake Paul was like 5'10". You know what I mean? Then he could
Yeah,
literally fight anybody and no one could say anything about it. But since he's 6'1", 76 inch reach, like he always has like that advantage going and fighting like the ex UFC fighters that are like popular.
yeah. Oh, he did knock out Tyron Woodley though. Or I have a friend. Shout out Josh. He thinks like his fights are fixed and fake. What do you think?
No, no, dude. That Tyron Woodley knockout was just brutal. I don't know. I don't think you can even. I mean, if that was fake, that was like the best acting I've ever seen. Like the
That's what
way
I'm saying.
Tyron's body like bounces off the ground, like just like completely out. Uh, but even
Yeah.
then, like
Oh,
Tyron Woodley's like what five? I think he's the same exact build as Mike Perry, like 5'10", 185. But he fought at welterweight.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish Mike Perry was like 6 foot 190. Then that this would be really interesting. I want to see Jake Paul fight like an ex middleweight, because he's fighting a lot of welterweights that were like UFC welterweights. I think if he fought like a middleweight, then there would be no discrepancy, like because like
What
middle.
about Jake Paul versus Vitor Belfort?
That's interesting, but Vitor's so old. How old is he?
That's true. Yeah, he's like 40, 44 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he did look. I did see he fought recently. He looked pretty dang good because he's back on the TRT, allegedly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it'll be TRT
Yeah,
Vitor.
I think that would be interesting,
He is
but
although.
yeah, he's just a little bit, maybe a few years past. Maybe if they did the fight like a few years ago, but I'm thinking like maybe he fights like, mm,
Rampage.
oh yeah, like a heavyweight that's not overly big, like a Rampage Jackson or I can't think of any because a lot of them are still fighting right now, so it wouldn't make sense. But yeah, any like light heavyweight or middleweights, that's the perfect size for Jake Paul. But he's fighting basically welterweights that in the UFC that were welterweights because I know Mike Perry was, Tyron Woodley was, Ben Askren was. I don't think he's ever fought anyone bigger than welterweight. Him versus Mike Tyson
No.
would have been interesting because obviously Tyson's a true heavyweight. So, yeah, but hopefully that fight never happens, just in case, because it's really Jake. It's Mike. How do I say this? Um, I don't know how to say this, but it's really like a win-win for Jake. You know what I mean? Even if
Yeah,
he
yeah.
loses,
Like Mike
he's
has everything
still
to lose, and
yeah,
Jake
yeah,
has everything to win.
yeah. That's all. Yeah. So it's like going into that knowing that it's like it's like messed up if you see like Mike get knocked out because like even if Mike won, he didn't win anything, and if he gets knocked out, he really loses a lot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Mike's
I
like
oh
50, what, 55, 56.
yeah 50 yeah just about I think that yeah a little bit younger. I think he's like 50. Let me see 52. Oh wait holy shit he's 58.
Oh
Oh
shit.
god, they
He's
don't
about to
make
be
it.
60, bro.
Yeah, by the time they fight, he'll be like 60 years old. That fight cannot happen. Especially when he's getting sick just from riding on the airplane. What
Yeah.
happens when I don't know when he's like exhausted and dehydrated in the fight and then gets hit right and then his
It's
recovery is
gonna
gonna
be
be
like that one
terrible.
Kimbo. You ever see that Kimbo slice against Whack? I don't know, it's not Whack 100. Some other like street fighter dude and like red hair, and they were both like super tired. And I'm pretty sure the
Oh
one
yeah,
they both
yeah,
had like a heart attack or something in the
yeah,
octagon, bro. That was crazy.
yeah. I want to see him fight Tommy Fury again. That I think he lost that fight because Tommy Fury fights a little bit like Jake. So Jake's like, shit, my game plan doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? Because Tommy likes to do that
Yeah.
stick and move too. So then it's like, shit, if Jake can't do the stick and move, then what else does he have? And we kind of saw that he doesn't really have much else than the stick and move.
Yeah.
if
Yeah, I
if
don't
Jake
see Jake
Paul,
really progressing though. Like as a fighter, I don't see him like getting better.
yeah, I mean, because he comes out and does the same style, like I said, like when it didn't work, he had nothing else to show for it.
Yeah.
So I think Jake will get my respect if he stands toe to toe, not for the whole fight, but periodically if he just stands there and trades with Mike, then I'll give Jake Paul more credit than I would versus if he just sits there and uses his height and reach and just moves around because that's just all we see and like if you're gonna do that against Mike Perry, like come on. You gotta at least make it a fun fight. If you got Mike Perry in the ring, you gotta make it a fun fight.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yo, speaking about like making it boring fights, you watched the Shakur Stevenson fight last week?
Oh my god! I watched maybe like one or two rounds. I turned it off. "You're really gonna do this shit again?"
I know.
I was pissed. I'm like, I didn't even give him the. I was like, nah. I turned to it, and I saw what he was doing. And I was like, oh, that's classic Shakur, and I just turned it off because I already knew he was just gonna do that the whole fight. So I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna watch this. But I
Damn,
would have
bro, he's
thought
hella damn.
after all that drama with the last one and all that talking on Twitter, I figured he would have I don't know been like really aggressive and gone for the knockout right away, but nah, it's not. I don't think he's trying to do that at all. I think he's trying to be like Floyd and just not get hit ever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just don't think he's pretty really good enough to not be like that. He kind of just it's the only thing he's good at.
So that's the thing. I
But
think he can.
he swears that he's good as fuck.
I see.
Again, when he like punches you, you see when he punches you, or well, not you, but like when he punches his opponents, like you can see the little look in his face, like he thinks he's like punching hard as fuck, but like he really doesn't though.
Yeah, I think he has the skills. He just doesn't have the power. Like I can see like when he has the ability to sit there and trade with you, but he doesn't have the power to do it. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have the power to back you up and like um make the other guy like
Well, yeah,
I don't know how to explain
he
it,
can
but
trade. He can trade with you like once or twice, but then like power is a skill to a degree as well. Like you
yeah.
can build power a little bit, but yeah, he won't sit there and trade with you because he's already wasting so much energy to get those combos off, and like he doesn't get like if he were to fight like Tank and they were just trading, Tank would get so much more from the same amount of punches that Shakur would throw at him.
Yeah, like even less punches. Yeah. Like yeah,
Yeah, like
Shakur would have to throw like five
Tank
and
throws
Shakur
like
yeah.
yeah. Tank throws. They actually both throw the same amount of punches in a fight, but Tank just gets the most out of it, and Shakur just goes back.
Yeah, like, and I think it's the way Shakur's mechanics are. Like, he'll always throw, but he's always squared up, you know? He never really like commits to like any one punch. Whereas obviously you see with Tank, he'll commit and he'll knock you out. But it's the way Shakur throws. Like he'll pop pop, and then he'll always be like in that same stance. You know, does that make sense? He's always in that square stance with his feet set, always throwing, but his feet are always set. And then versus like Tank, he'll step in with a big leaping step and then commit to like a left hand. Whereas you don't really see Shakur do that too much. And even when he does, it still looks like even when he does take a big step, he's not overly committed to the punch. He'll throw it and then he'll always be ready to take a step back. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is that like he makes it seem like he's like a killer, and he's not. That's the thing, right?
I mean, he was at the lighter weights when like obviously his punches will do more damage because they're smaller, and he had a bigger
Yeah,
size advantage. But when they're the same size, that kind of all goes out the window. And I think
yeah.
that that's something he'll have to work on, and he's still young, so maybe maybe once he puts on a little bit more weight, I don't know. I don't know, but maybe he'll have to change his style a little bit. But his
He'll
boxing
definitely have
IQ
to
is
change his mechanics.
yeah, his boxing IQ is good. Like he knows how to win a fight. He knows like how to be in the right position and stuff. But it's just that it's not really he's not really trying to knock you out. He's trying to win the fight. So or win on the scorecards.
But it's the same thing that we were talking about with like wrestling. Like you can't win a fight if you don't throw, you know.
Yeah, that's true. But
But at least
he does
for his
throw.
last fight,
Yeah.
at least for his last fight, he only threw like 5 punches the whole fight.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah, in his more recent fights. I mean, like I miss
Yeah,
the old Shakur. Like remember back then he was just nonstop throwing, and he would hurt guys too. But that was like because he was just so
that's
much
because he
bigger.
had all the that's because he had all the advantages.
Yeah, I think he trains with Bud, and Bud just doesn't go as hard on him, so he thinks he's hella good
Yeah,
because he can hang with Bud. But in reality, Bud could just knock him out if he wanted to.
yeah. I think Shakur's kind of delusional. No
Yeah,
disrespect, but
I think
I think
the
he's like
perfect
one of the
fight for
more
him.
overhyped.
I think the perfect fight for not just him, but also for the fighter he could fight is him versus Devin. But Devin's too high in weight. But if they were in the same weight, that would be the perfect fight because they're both
Yeah, that would be.
because Devin's coming off a loss. Shakur has to prove himself, so like that would be. But I saw that I don't know if you saw this, but Vasily is stepping back or something like that to fight Javante. But then I saw
Yeah,
Lomachenko. But then I saw that first, and then I saw they're gonna just move forward with Lomachenko versus Gervonta, and I think maybe because Shakur is just pissing everyone off. They're like, nah, Shakur, you gotta step aside because everyone's pissed off at you now because you're just doing the same shit every time.
yeah, dude. Like that's gonna hurt his career. Like
Yeah,
he's not a big name whatsoever. Like he doesn't sell shit, but like he's not gonna sell shit in the future if he keeps fighting like this.
yeah. So I think we finally get to see Lomachenko versus Gervonta. How do you think that's gonna go?
Bro, we've been wanting to see that shit forever. But yeah,
Yeah, dude. Oh my
I think it
god.
would have been a good ass. It would have been a good ass fight a few years back for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Loma's what 37, about to turn 38. Yeah,
Dang, I
he's
didn't know
damn
he's
near
that old.
40.
That's
Let me
crazy.
check just to make sure. I know he's old though.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, he that's probably sounds about right. I thought he was like 35, but that might have been a couple years ago.
Oh, I lied. He's 36. He's about to turn 37.
Oh yeah, so pretty much yeah. So he's about to be 37. By the time they fight, he'll be
Yeah.
37. So yeah, that's gonna be. I think honestly, I think that'll be a better fight than it shows on paper. Like obviously we know what Javante is capable of, but I think I have a weird feeling that Lomachenko is gonna look really good, and it's gonna be a good close fight, and it goes to decision. What do you think?
I think it's gonna be closer than people think because Tank doesn't have like the only advantage he has over Loma is power advantage, but like speed wise, they're about the same,
Hmm.
and height and weight wise, they're about the same. Loma's been fighting hella big people, but Tank also fights big people, so
Yeah.
I think
Now
it's
that
gonna be closer than people think.
yeah, but now that I think about it more, I do see Javante hurting Lomachenko. Now that I think about it, just because I see Loma doing like the fancy footwork, but then I can see Javante landing some, I don't know, like a hook or an uppercut on the inside, and I don't see him like knocking him out, but I see him like getting like like a flash knockdown, and then like that happens, and then that kind of slows Loma, and then it he kind of like fizzes out after that. But I don't see him hurting him like super early, but like kind of maybe in the middle of the rounds, and then kind of Javante taking over from there. But I still think it's gonna be a good close fight. I do
Yeah,
see Javante hurting Loma in that fight. I don't really see Loma
yeah,
hurt. I see Loma landing a lot of punches on Javante because I've seen Javante get hit a bunch. You know, like against
yeah.
I think even Leo Santa Cruz, he was getting hit quite a bit. There's another couple fights where he gets hit a lot. He doesn't get like hurt, but he'll get hit, and then eventually he'll hurt you and put you out. But I do see Loma landing a lot of like pop shots, like jabs, a lot of getting Gervante's face kind of red, stuff like that. And then I think I see Gervonta landing like a nice uppercut on the inside, just drops Loma briefly, and then from then on, I think Loma is going to be discouraged to trade with him.
See, I think the only reason why against Tio Loma, I think it was a combination of the height and reach advantage of Tio plus the power. Tio and
Yeah.
Tank have about the same power, more or less, but Tank just doesn't have the reach. Yeah, I think I mean due to his age though, age does fuck you up though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But if it was like Loma when he fought Tio, I think he probably even have it. He had a chance to even beat Tank just on volume because he was like so good at defending and shit in the pocket.
Mm. Yeah, and you bring up a good point. Like Javante never has a height or reach advantage, but and that's why he gets hit a lot. But it's like he uses that to his advantage because he'll like get hit and he'll like almost lure you in. It happened against Rolly, right? These guys they get
Yeah,
lured into Javante because they're like, oh, I can hit him, and then out of nowhere,
yeah.
Javante throws like the counter. It'll be like it could be any punch. At this point, it's any punch that he throws, and he'll drop you. It doesn't matter who you are. If he lands flush, dude, it's crazy.
The only difference is that Loma is a different, totally different caliber of boxer than
Yeah,
everybody
that is
else
true.
Tank has ever fought. That's a thing. That's a
Yep.
thing. Yeah. So it'll
And
be
yeah,
interesting for sure.
yeah. And I see Loma has to go forward in this fight because just because of the power disadvantage, right? It'll take Loma, two or three to Javante's one to make it look even because Javante hits harder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like I see Loma having to press until eventually he gets hurt, and then after that, Loma's gonna be a little bit hesitant, and then he's gonna give up rounds because he's not pressing like he was earlier in the fight. So I see Loma winning like the first three or four, middle rounds being a little bit more even, Gervonta hurting Loma, and then the last four, Gervonta kind of takes over.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to go over? Oh yeah,
Um.
Jaron Ennis, dude. This guy's
Oh yeah. The
holy cow, dude. He is good. He's really good.
you watch that fight?
I saw the highlights, but
Yeah. You want to pull it up? I think it was on the zone, so we don't have
yeah.
to worry about the copyright shit for that. Boots Ennis is pretty much like an up and comer. Everybody wants to compare him to Crawford a little bit, I guess you could say, because of the switch hitting abilities. But David Avenetian, he just fought Crawford right not too long ago, and I guess they use these type of fights to kind of measure the up and coming fighters to the established champions,
Yeah, dude.
and they
When I
usually they kind of make a case for if like you look better or if you stop that one guy faster than the other, like Crawford for example, everybody's gonna be like, oh, Iran Ennis, he has a chance of beating Crawford.
like you can kind of see his face is kind of even still sunk in a little bit. He cut so much weight.
Yeah, with the Saudis in PFL for Francis versus John Jones. I just saw it today.
No way, really?
Yeah,
That's
that'd be
crazy.
sick.
Wait, dude, I did not
Yeah,
know that. That's crazy.
you know how Sean was commentating on the Jake Paul card or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sean O'Malley. Yeah, maybe they'll do like co-produce a boxing fight because Sean O'Malley wants to box too, you know, to make that money.
Yeah, it makes sense because I did see that Dana is working with the Saudis um, to make the fight at the Sphere. Have you heard about the Sphere card? The UFC.
Oh, that's gonna be sick. Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah,
be sick.
so apparently Dana White spent so much money trying to build that event. He made a deal with the Saudis to help fund with that. I'm pretty sure he said. So that
Oh,
that
that'd be
must be
sick.
why like he's the prince is like, yeah, we'll send you 10 mil for the Sphere, but if we want to do Ngannou versus John Jones, you know, what I mean? They're like, if you scratch my
Yeah.
back, I'll scratch yours, because they're not just gonna give that
Yeah.
money for free. So,
Oh, of course.
but
Yeah, I'm down for
oh
that.
yeah, I did see. I think they're promoting that Sphere event as like a Riyadh thing. Either promoting the Sphere as a Riyadh season thing, or their UFC is going to do a fight with the Saudis for their Riyadh. They call it like
Mm.
Riyadh. I don't know what it is, like their own sports thing. But yeah,
I'm not
interesting. If
sure.
once, I think the reason why Dana's so against it is because he knows as soon as he takes the genie out of the bottle, then it's gonna get crazy. You know what I mean? Because then everyone's gonna be like, "Well, you did this one." They already do it with the Connor versus Floyd fight. They're always like, "Well, you did it with
Yeah.
Connor versus Floyd. Like, what would you do? Would you do like uh Ngannou versus Tyson Fury? You know what I mean? Like when Ngannou's in the UFC, like or like Kamaru Usman versus Canelo. Like they always ask that since they did the Connor Floyd. So I think he knows that once he does something like this, he knows it'll be he's just gonna be getting questioned all the time. Can you do your champion versus the one championship champions or but the Bellator champions? You know?
Yeah, that'd be sick. But yeah, I guess he does like to monopolize it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird because I kind of like that it's just UFC because it's different. It's like because once you start getting into that avenue, it's gonna turn into boxing, right? Then you're gonna have all these promoters taking forever to make fights. You're gonna have the UFC champion. He's supposed to fight the top contender, but then you have the PFL. They want to make the UFC versus PFL champion. So now the UFC title is on hold because they want. You know what I mean? It's gonna turn into boxing where
Yeah.
the champions are getting held up because and they're getting stripped left and right because they got mandatories and then they want to make this fight and that. So I don't know. I don't know if I really want to see the UFC do that from that perspective, but from a fan perspective, I definitely want to see John versus Ngannou.
I think Dana said he would only co-promote with Your Excellency. the,
Oh, okay, yeah,
the
that's
prince.
fair then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
why because because it's zero risk because even if John Jones loses, His Excellency is like, here, Dana, here's 50 bags. You know what I mean? He's like,
Yeah,
oh well,
because
we just made more money from that than we would have made on the pay per view anyway, so why not?
yeah, it's because the Excellency, he's the one paying for the event. That's why he'll do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. And then he's still gonna get paid for it. I'm sure it's structured in a way that even if the Saudis lose money, the UFC will always make money, be profitable.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly
Um,
how it was with the Floyd versus Connor fight. Was the UFC didn't have to put up any money, I'm pretty sure, but they got paid on the back end from the pay per views. Wrap this
but
up.
To finish it up, you see Sean Strickland beating up that tomato can, Navy SEAL, no disrespect.
Yeah, dude. I don't know why. You got to be kind of crazy to fight. Okay, so I've had this discussion with a friend before. His brother, or his like stepbrother, is like a Navy SEAL, and he was like trying to say like Navy SEALs could beat up UFC fighters. I'm like, bro, it doesn't matter. You could take the best Navy SEAL if you put him in the octagon with the best UFC champion. They're gonna lose 10 times out of 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because these guys are professional killers. Like, sure, if you give the Navy SEAL a knife, if you give them both a knife, the Navy SEAL's gonna win. But you know what I mean? In a straight MMA fight, that's what it's gonna look like. Sean Strickland versus that Navy SEAL. Oh man! And apparently that Navy SEAL had MMA experience too.
yeah, he had like 9 fights or something like that.
Yeah,
Which it is. No disrespect to that guy, like zero skills whatsoever.
yeah. I
Know
mean,
what they teach, what type of combat they teach in the SEAL teams, but damn,
did
they
you?
gotta, they gotta, they gotta get Sean to go teach some stuff over there.
Oh, 100%. And then did you see David Goggins was getting pissed off at Sean? Did you see they got beef now?
Yeah, that's crazy.
David Goggins is like, I'll spar you, but you have to complete my like whatever your protocol. Like like he puts people through like his little challenge,
Oh
his
yeah, like
hell
an
hell week.
exercise, like a
Yeah, like his
fitness
hell week
challenge.
type thing. Yeah, he's like, if you complete it,
Yeah,
then I'll spar you. I think he was saying something like that. I'm like, bro, please do not fight him. Please do not fight Sean.
yeah.
We've seen it. We've seen what happened. It's not. It's probably gonna be even worse because I doubt David can fight. But yeah, I thought that was funny.
Well, what do you think about Sean just like putting it up on putting yeah like pouring it on people that like have no business being there with him? Like I think
Uh
it's entertaining personally, but
yeah, he's gotten better at it. I mean, I know the first time I saw it, not the first time, but I think when he fought Sneeko, that was fucked up. but I know this time the coach was like, Sean, body shots, body shots. So at least he was just hitting him in the body, but it is pretty funny and
yeah,
entertaining to watch. But if he starts, at least yeah, as long as he's not hurting anyone, because yeah, that is probably not a good idea for him to be knocking people out that don't know how to fight.
yeah, some bully shit or whatever.
Dude, they need to bring that
I kind
back.
of,
Bully, they need to bring back bully beatdown and just do all 10 bullies
bro,
versus Sean.
that'd be sick. Yo, he'd be the perfect dude for that, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be fucking hilarious. Wait.
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick. But that one, the host for that, I'm pretty sure he's in prison.
Oh yeah, that guy's a little crazy.
May
I know who you're
Mayhem
talking
Miller,
about.
yeah, he got a few counts, a few felonies.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a good ass show, dude. They need to bring that back. This now's the perfect time too,
Yeah,
because now they're doing all the crazy, like crazy remix stuff. Where they do like fights in a car, like phone booth fighting.
for real.
I saw
Who
they
comes
did
up with
like
this shit?
I saw they did car seat fighting where they were like they were in seatbelts and they had to fight.
All right, guys, that was it. Thank you for listening and tuning in again. If you have any comments or anything like that, please leave it in the comment section. Like the video, share it if you think it's quality.
Thanks for tuning in. This is another great episode. Like Mondo said, like, comment, subscribe, do what you gotta do. This is another good one. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, peace out.
Yeah, we got more. We got more coming out. We had some vacation time, so that's why we didn't post for a little bit. But we're back.
For sure. Hopefully, we'll get one up next week. Till then, see ya.